Hi everybody, it's Kristen. I am here to do a flip through of my summer journal. This is one of two summer journals. So yeah, I figured I would come and show you what I did with this journal. I made a little dangle here and I have like a little sequin. This is the front cover. And then this is a pocket that I have like a little journaling card in here. A lot of these pictures are pictures that I've taken, like my own gardens. And so this is one of the pictures that I took from my own garden. I went through and printed it out. And I also put on here when I started this that I used a Better Homes and Gardens magazine and pictures from my own gardens. And there's also pressed flowers from this year's garden in this journal. So this is a very exciting journal for me. I love how this turned out. I love flowers. I love butterflies. All things growing are my favorite. So I'm really hoping that this will be in frame for you guys. When I was editing in the last few videos, they were not all the best in frame. So I'm really hoping that I have all of this in frame. But so this is how it opens. This is a little, it was actually a gift card holder that was given to me, and I turn it into flip out, and then I put a quote in here and then a little bit of journaling. Anyway, so I did keep some existing magazine images in here, and I did some stenciling up here on an Edith Holden. I put a quote in here, and then I have, this is a pocket here with another photo that I've taken and some journaling or quotes on the back. I'm not going to go through and bore you with reading all the quotes, but I really enjoy doing that in my journals. This was a book page, like a garden book page. And then I flipped that up. I did a little collaging on the bottom here. And I did a lot of kind of poke outs and tabs, and I sprayed some music paper. I did a little bit of journaling. This is a poetry book that I have, and it has a psalm on there. Somebody gave me a butterfly, just little, I don't know, brochure, I guess. So I used some images from that, and then a little cluster there. Again, this was hand painted. I had printed some documents that I ended up filling out digitally, so that's what this is. And I don't mind the writing on the background. This is actually 2 sacks that I glued together to make one long pocket, and I collaged here, and this is a sticker. And then I also have here a little tag with a cluster. That was a magazine image, and I just used some scraps. And I got this idea from Katie Lyman. I love her journaling style. In fact, this paper here was also inspired by her. So yeah, and then this was an image from my garden. And then I did just, some writing on the back of that. Again, this is a lot of stash busting, using things that I have had for a long time in my stash. Oh, this is also a belly band. And then I had this quote that was laying around, and I put another quote on the back that I wrote on there. And that just fits nicely in there. I used a lot of stickers from my stash. This was an Ideals magazine image, and then I just did a little collaging with some words. This is an envelope that I glued on another piece of paper, and so I made sure I found images that would go through the windows. I have 2 cards in here because it's a big envelope. So this one here, collaged with an image from that butterfly magazine, and then that on the back. And then I have this, which is a fairy book that I bought from Amazon, and then a quote on the back that I hand wrote. I'm not good at handwriting, but I have decent like handwriting. My regular handwriting is decent, so, and I just think it's more personal when you have your own handwriting in your journals. I like having my own handwriting and finding quotes that I like. Another one of those punched butterflies as well. Oh, and then I had this flower I stuck on here just to cover up the back of this, which I put a little dangle. I'm not great at doing these dangles, so, you know, a little collaged heart. This was from Ideals magazine. I had this tag that I made, a tag, and then I turned it into a pocket. And then I have another tag here that I just stick in here with the top layer out. This was a journal card that somebody sent to me in Happy Mail years ago. Happy Mail, not Happy Meal, Happy Mail years ago. And so I just collaged on the back, and there's a quote underneath, and I just have that on there with a paper clip, an altered paper clip, which is this one here. Again, a lot of inspiration from Katie Lyman. I love her channel, and I just love all the little things that she makes. And these are my roses, and then I put on here a quote, and then a little bit of doodling and some faux stitching, and that just clips on there. I had this piece of fabric laying around, and I used to work and I sold lottery tickets, so these were the receipts that nobody ever wanted, so they would just collect up, and I thought, oh, that would be a good base for some collaging. So I tried to incorporate some of those. I did some stamping and painting. I had this label set that I got from the Dollar Tree years ago. I wanted to use that up, so some of that is in here. This was me trying to doodle, and there's another one on that side. I turned that into a tag, and that just slides up there. Again, another old lottery ticket receipt with some collaging. I loved this just vase image, and I doodled on that on both sides, and then I just framed it with washi tape. This is another one of those tea bags I love, and then I just put this tag, like little tag. There's nothing on it, just a little strip of paper trying to use up my supplies. And then I put a magazine cutting. This was a scrap from a fairy book that I have. I don't love the way that turned out, but that's okay. You're not going to love everything you put in your art journals. I did love this quote, though. Hands were made for getting dirty, and I love just planting and gardening. In case you hadn't noticed that already, flowers are my jam. So there's a little pocket here. I did these are held together with brads, and so they're kind of movey, turny. You can, I don't know. I was having fun one day crafting, and I used a lot of brads and to make just little, using labels and journal cards. I put the word grow on the back of that. And then I had these clothing tags, and so I just decorated those up. This was another one where I just used a brad and just stuck, you know, some collaging on there. So I like the way that turned out. And that just sticks in there like that. This was stamping and just a sticker I added on there. another one, a collage like cluster that I stapled on here. I like the stuff that hangs over. I just think that adds a fun texture to the outside of your journal. This was a tag I made, and then it's like a master board, and then I just stamped an image of a leaf, and I journaled on the back of that. Something I made a long time ago. A lot of this is just things that I've made a long time ago. I have a one of those label stickers, and then I just stuck a small image on there from a magazine. This is something I made. I got an altered paper clip, and it's made from book page, and then I just journaled on the inside, and I just keep it closed so I have like a way to pull. This is plastic, so it's just like I think I stapled that envelope on there. Anyway, I used some faux leaves too, just for fun, using things I was finding in my craft room. I absolutely love this image that's on there with a paper clip, an altered paper clip. I love irises, and this was from, I think, a fashion magazine. It's a jewelry ad. And so I had been hoarding these for a really long time. I have another one that's a butterfly one. And I knew I wanted to put them in an art journal. I just didn't have any idea. And so they ended up in these journals. So this is an altered paper clip, just a little tag. And I have it on the side, clipped on the side. And then an image from my garden. And then a quote on the back. So it was fun using my own pictures in here too, just for a record of my gardening journey. I've been gardening for a long time, so I did some doodling on this page. This was a painted or sprayed dictionary page, and then just collaging. This was an image from the magazine, the Better Homes and Gardens magazine, and then I doodled in there. I also love beets, and I believe that's a beet, or it could be a purple potato. Whatever it is, doesn't matter. I loved it, and I doodled in it. I love again, how the colors just sort of work together. I took this from an Ideals magazine and just, I don't know, I just collaged. I kept the parts that I liked. I really like that flower. I love the way this turned out, actually, with it like torn and the magazine and the book pages surrounding it. I think that turned out so nice. And these were just stickers I had, and then a quote that was left in my stash. I do try to use as much as I can in these. This was, again, like a little matchbook folder type thing. I don't know if you call it a matchbook, but sort of, I guess. And then just a journal card I made. This was using another like shopping tag for something I had purchased. It had little bunnies on it. And sometimes I just take random tags and decorate them. And so this is some poetry book. And then I have a journaling spot. I stamped a butterfly on there, colored in these flowers. It was just black and white. And then I did painting on here and then tea dyeing. The same up here as well. That actually has gesso on it, and it looks really cool. The texture of that feels awesome too. So then I have this one, which this is a tuck spot with some flowers that I took from my garden. Another clothing tag with an awesome shape, and this actually was on here, if you like it, and then I just covered up the other word and I put grow it. And so that's the original front of the tag, and that just fits in there nicely. Again, just like I splattered and gessoed and sprayed. There's some glitter. This was from that fairy book. Some swatching, which again, I love swatching. This is a doily I got from Journal Say. It's a little squashed. That's okay. I stuck a butterfly in here. There was already a butterfly on there. And this was images that were already in the book, I took this image and put it in the frame, and to cover up the back of the doily, I just added that frame and put a quote. There's collaging here, that's Edith Holden, and then some dictionary with stamping. Again, just collaging. This is a little collaged piece, and there's nothing on the back of it. It's just something I stuck in here. And then this, I put a decoupage with napkin, and then I stuck this sticker on there. It's a little hard to see, but it's a fairy. And then one of those labels with another sticker over the top. Oh, and this was fun. This was a piece to, I don't know, a magazine or a book, a kitchen garden. And then I put on there my favorite herbs and my favorite vegetables I like to grow. And that's, you know, I prepare in the kitchen. So I love this, how this turned out as well. Just collaging. And I put a pocket on here. This was a scrappy bit, and then I put a sticker on it, and then used some ink on it, and then I stuck a sticker on this clothing tag. And again, it's just another clothing tag, and I have an assortment of gems I've had for a long time. This is from that butterfly magazine, and just some scrapbook paper I had. I made this shaker, which you can't really shake it. I turned it into a pocket though. And then under there I have, this was some lilies I had a long time ago. And then I put a quote on there. And I tried to make it so the lily was in the window. So that's just some stuff I had to make a shaker tag. I put a quote here. I have this beautiful zinnia from last year's garden. It looks yellow, but actually it was this really, really pretty lime green color. The picture didn't come out great with that, but that's okay. A tag I collaged on, and then put a quote on the back. And oh, these are some of the pressed flowers. This is calendula I grow, and I know it's shiny. The best way I've found to keep these from like just drying out and shriveling up is to use clear tape. And so I just put clear tape over the top. I flatten the center down, and then I just tape it down. It doesn't always keep it, you know, the nicest, but this turned out pretty good actually. And then this was a lily from a garden I used to have years ago. And then a quote on the back. I like how I put the gold wrapped around from those stickers. I think those turned out nice. And that's a tuck spot. I did a flower with some lace. This, I have a little flip up here with a flower underneath. And then I put a quote and a butterfly, and then I have washi tape at the bottom. Oops. This was just a piece from an Ideals magazine. And then I have some floral sticker books. So I used these Morning Glories, and I had a Morning Glory image from a garden past. And then this flips out with another picture of a flower underneath. Using packaging, this had glitter in it, and so that's why I kept it. And then this is a top loading or bottom loading pocket, and then it's got a beautiful sunflower. I love sunflowers. And then I put a sunflower quote on there. Okay, and then this is a piece that I had, which I layered. It came this way. I purchased it from a craft show. I got those from a long time ago. And then a quote, and there's this big tag in here with some, this is snapdragon, and then this is some salvia, and you can see like it just keeps them from shriveling up. So if you press them in a book, that's what happens, I find. And then that's the back of this one. I had, again, just a scrap piece of that sprayed gessoed paper. I loved the image of this lady in her terrarium, and then these images of terrariums. So I wanted to keep that. I stabilized the page so it was a little bit thicker since it's the back cover. So that is the first of 2 summer journals, and I will have one more journal to do a flip through on. All right, everybody. I will see you in the next video. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope you have a great day. Thanks. Bye.